Hello everyone, Mr. Stevens here. Before we move too much more forward in this unit, I want to take a minute to look at units of area. We spent some time at the start of the unit converting between different units of length, and we're just going to see if we remember how to do that quickly right now. So there are two conversions here that I'd like you to do. Convert the first one from centimeters into meters, and the second one from kilometers into meters. What I'm going to do is get you to pause the video here and see if you can remember how to do these, and when you come back in a second I'll show you how to do them if you don't quite remember. Okay, so remember the table that I taught you to draw up. You've got your initial measurement, and then we want to convert it into meters, and we know that in 1 meter we have 100 centimeters. And remember, we times along the top line and we divide what's on the bottom line. So what we can do here is we can cancel out the centimeters, and we're left with, I'm going to write the answer over here, we're left with 173.9 times 1 meter divided by 100. So 173.9 divided by 100 is 1.73 meters. And again now with this second one, sorry, it's 27. We draw up our little table. That should say kilometers. And then we know that in 1 kilometer we have 1,000 meters. Now we can cancel out our kilometers, and what we end up is, remember, we're timesing what's on the top line and we're dividing what's on the bottom line. So in this case we're just timesing by 1,000. And then that gives us our answer. $270. Remember, when we're timesing by multiples of 10, we can just move the decimal. And I showed you this back when we were looking at converting of units. This is sort of a shortcut that you can remember when we're converting between metric units, millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. And we can check up here. The first thing we did was centimeters into meters. Centimeters into meters, we divide by 100. And that's what we got here from our method. We ended up dividing by 100. And then in the second one, we were going from kilometers to meters, and this one says to times by 1,000, and that's what we ended up doing. We were timesing by 1,000. So if you can remember this diagram, you can take a bit of a shortcut when we're doing these unit conversions. But okay, now that we've seen this, we've reminded ourselves about this diagram for length. We're going to see that the diagram for area is slightly different. Okay, because now when we're looking at units of area, we're looking at kilometers squared, meters squared, centimeters squared, millimeters squared. We're not just dividing or timesing by 10, we're not just dividing or timesing by 100 or 1,000, but we're actually squaring our numbers that we're dividing and timesing by as well. That's very important for us to remember if we have to convert any units of area. So let's look at an example. Example 7a. 859 millimeters squared, and we want to convert into centimeters. So we're going from millimeters into centimeters. So we're dividing by 10 squared. Sorry. So that is going to be 8.59 centimeters squared. And again, we're going from 2.37 meters squared into centimeters. This time we're going back this way. So we're going to be timesing by 100 squared. I need my calculator for this one to make sure I get it right. And this one is going to be centimeters squared, 23,700 centimeters squared. So as you can see, when you add this squared, you can start dealing with some quite large numbers. But it's very important that when we're dealing with squared units, we also square our unit conversions. So there's just one question that I have for you guys to do to practice this. You'll find it on page 294, and it is question 4. Thanks, guys.